I'm available.
Yes. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, very good afternoon, everyone. So today we are starting the third session of National Level Student Enrichment Program for Strengthening Chemistry Fundamentals. We started this program on 21st September, and we had seen a very big response from the chemistry students from various states of India. And many are having classes at this time at 2:30. So many will be watching on YouTube, and many will be watching the videos, recorded videos later on. And the students have informed us already. And in this whole program, we will be covering the fundamentals of 9 different topics like chemical kinetics, electrochemistry, thermodynamics, then quantum mechanics, stereochemistry, etc. in 9 weeks. So we already had 2 sessions. The first one was on thermodynamics by Professor Arnab Mukherjee from IISER Pune, and the second one was by Dr. from IISER Tirupati. And both sessions were very excellent, and we already had received a great feedback from students about those sessions. And today we are starting the third session, and this session the topic is electrochemistry, which is actually one of the tough topic for many of our students, many of the students in BSc. Today we are fortunate to have a very excellent teacher here and a researcher, Professor Muhammed Musthafa from Pune. So on behalf of St. Joseph's College, Devagiri, I welcome Dr. Muhammad Musthafa, Associate Professor IISER Pune, to this program. And I welcome all the students and all the other participants to this session. Few things about the session. We will be continuing this session tomorrow, Saturday, exactly at 2:30 p.m. Since you know, electrochemistry is a vast topic, very vast subject area, and it cannot be covered or taught in 2-3 hours. So we will be continuing tomorrow and Saturday exactly at 2:30 p.m. Second thing, you can ask questions in between. If probably Musthafa sir will talk about that. And we will be sharing a Google form in chat box as well as in the WhatsApp groups to ask questions. You can post questions. You can type your questions there. Or after watching the video at night, also you can post questions. We will summarize all the questions and we will communicate with the Professor Musthafa. And next day we can discuss on that questions also. So once again, I welcome everyone to this session. And Dr. Manoj Matthews, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's College, Devagiri, and Coordinator of DPT Star College Program, St. Joseph's College, Devagiri, to introduce the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone.
Your turn.
Thank you, Joman, and good afternoon, everybody. So we are into the third session or third topic for the student enrichment program. Today we have a very eminent personality or a very good teacher, young teacher, who is from IISER, that is Dr. Muhammad Musthafa. He is working as an associate professor in IISER Pune. And to tell very shortly about him, he completed his MSc and BSc from Calicut University, Kerala. Then he obtained his PhD from Indian Institute of Science. Then he had moved on for a couple of postdoctoral positions, including University of St. Andrews. And since 2014, he is a faculty at IISER Pune. His research area is fuel cells, or something very interesting area where electrochemistry, energy storage and conversion of devices, that includes fuel cells, batteries, supercapacitors, solar cells. As you all know, it's a very hot topic which attracts a lot of funding across the world. And you know, when he is an expert in those area, electrochemistry will be the best subject that he is the most suitable person who can take electrochemistry. I'm sure that he will link the applications of electrochemistry directly, other than your very basic galvanic cell, which you are studying at your college level, to the latest solar cells and all other supercapacitors that are available in the market. So please students, use this opportunity. And he is also a very good researcher, a lot of publications to his credit. You can go to his website and you can see many cover pages. You can see how wonderfully he has given that pictorial representations are really attractive, how he come up with the different publications, more than 50 publications to his credit in various journals. So I ask students to make use of this opportunity. And with these short words, let me hand over the session to Dr. Musthafa. Welcome, sir.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Jomon, Dr. Manoj, for your excellent and kind introduction. And so I hope you can hear me properly without any problem.
Yes, you're audible.
All right, so let me share the screen now. I'll directly go to the presentation without any delay. And if you can see the screen properly, please let me know, okay? So that I can go ahead. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it's clear. Then I'll, so let me start now. And anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Jomon, for inviting for this wonderful program on this electrochemistry lecture. And as you rightly, as Dr. Manoj rightly said, you know, it's a subject which is often ignored in India, especially. So let me first cover some of the aspects which which are the basis of this subject called electrochemistry, and let me try to motivate the students, especially present here. And I just wanted to highlight or emphasize the importance of this electrochemistry field to the students who are pursuing their bachelor's degree at the moment. And from tomorrow onwards, I'll start my lectures on the fundamental aspects of electrochemistry. And today it will be mainly on the introductions of the electrochemistry. Okay, so let me start now. My talk is divided into two parts primarily. The first one is, in fact, talking about the philosophy of electrochemistry. Of course, electrochemistry also has a philosophy. And second part is talking about the science of electricity. Now, let me begin with the first part, the philosophy of electrochemistry. What is the philosophy of electrochemistry? You might be aware of the fact that science has reached a point that it recognizes every cell, every living cell in any form of life as an electric battery. Any living cell is a kind of an electric battery. I'll come to this later. Which means you as an individual is a collection of millions of living cells or millions of living batteries. Since you are a collection of millions of living batteries, you are not an individual, but you are a community of living cells or living batteries. And you are made out of 50 trillion living cells. Again says that you are not an individual, but a community. You are not a single person, but a community. And every cell, it is well known that every cell has got a negative voltage on the inside and a positive voltage. I repeat, a negative voltage on the inside and a positive voltage on the outside. This happens only for a battery, which means your cell resembles a kind of an electric battery, a positive voltage and a negative voltage. And then if you measure the voltage difference between the positive and negative end, you will end up with a value of 1.4 volt. It's well known. So every living cell has got a voltage of 1.4 volt approximately. And I said already, you are made out of 50 trillion living cells. And if I assume that for convenience, if I assume that they are all arranged in series, the total voltage right now in your body will be 50 trillion cells multiplied by 1.4 volt. It is approximately 700 trillion volts of electricity right now. It's a huge amount of electricity right now flowing in your body at the moment. This tremendous amount of energy is responsible for what you are right now. This tremendous amount of energy is responsible for whatever you stand for today. It is responsible for the creation of your heart, your kidney, your liver, your brain, everything that you see in your body right now. It is all made by this tremendous amount of energy that is available right now in your body. Since it is an enormous amount of energy, you can use it for constructive purposes, or you can use it for doing nonsense as well. Both possibilities exist. For example, and this energy is often called as chi by Chinese spiritual leaders. Chinese spiritual leaders, they coined a term for this energy called chi, chi. And by training and meditation, you will be able to focus this energy for doing constructive things, for constructive purposes. For example, Jittu Krishnamurti was a great philosopher, speaker, and writer who channelized his energy for healing purposes. The available literature, the available notes indicate that, I'm not sure about that, the available notes indicate that he could heal people just by using his hands. So he could channelize his energy for healing purposes. I'm sure you all might have heard about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was the greatest martial artist history has ever seen, and he became something like that by focusing this energy called chi. I am also sure that you have heard about Ernesto Che Guevara, the great Marxist revolutionary and a major figure of Cuban Revolution, who later went on to become a countercultural symbol of rebellion and a global insignia in popular culture, again by channelizing the same energy called chi. So you can do wonders if you focus this energy properly. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is every living cell is a kind of an electric battery according to modern science, and you are made out of millions of such kind of electric batteries, which clearly says that your fundamental nature is a kind of an electric battery. Fundamentally, you are a battery, in fact. And this battery will be completely charged when you are young. And as you age, what happens is that the battery will slowly drains out. Everyone knows that. And you cannot go back. It is impossible. It says that you are analogous to a primary battery, which can never be recharged. That is the first philosophy of electrochemistry I have for you. And you know that batteries are electrochemical devices. Batteries are electrochemical devices. And your fundamental nature is a kind of an electric battery. Therefore, the first philosophy of electrochemistry is the study about yourself, because your fundamental nature is a kind of an electric battery. You might wonder, or you might ask me, are there any evidences to suggest that your fundamental nature is an electric battery? Are there any evidences, or this Musthafa is simply blubbering about it? I'm not blubbering. There are evidences to show that there is an innate or inbuilt battery within your body. You might have heard about electrocardiogram or ECG. ECG is a technique utilized to measure the electrical and muscular functions of your heart. Remember one thing, that your heart is a two-stage electrical pump, and it beats continuously. It beats continuously 24/7. Since it's an electrical pump, any electrical pump requires an electrical power supply for functioning. My question is, where is the electrical power supply for your heart to beat continuously? Where is the electrical power supply? Have you seen it? And recently, scientists have found that heart has its own battery called sinoatrial, or SA node, located in the right atrium. Recently, they found that. And the most interesting aspect here is this battery for the heart, it functions independently of the brain to generate electricity for the heart to beat. So this clearly shows that, this clearly says that there is an inbuilt battery within your body. Only problem is, it is beyond the perceptive capability of your five senses. It is very subtle in nature. It is beyond the perceptive capability of your five senses. What is the second philosophy of electrochemistry I have for you? The second philosophy of electrochemistry is why Kareena Kapoor drinks green tea. It has got a connection with definitely with electrochemistry. Why Kareena Kapoor drinks green tea? The reason is obvious. She eats a lot of junk food. And you know, junk food contains a lot of oxidants. Which can cause damage to your cells and vital organs. So what is the problem? The problem is if you consume food containing a lot of oxidants according to Nernst equation, it's a very famous Nernst equation. If you consume food containing a lot of oxidants, what will happen? This ratio will go up on the right-hand side. If this ratio goes up on the right-hand side, the left-hand side representing the energy term also will go up automatically. So if you consume, so according to Nernst equation, if you consume food containing a lot of oxidants, there will be excessive accumulation of negative energy in your body as per the Nernst equation. And if there is excessive accumulation of negative energy in your body, your skin may wrinkle, you may experience premature aging, and you will have a lot of health complications in the future. And Kareena Kapoor is aware of Nernst equation, and she drinks a lot of green tea because of that. Because green tea contains a lot of antioxidants. Antioxidants means opposite of oxidants, antioxidants. So if you consume a lot of green tea, or if you inject a lot of antioxidants into your body, what happens? According to Nernst equation, this ratio will come down, and you can prevent the excessive accumulation of negative energy in your body. Or very clearly, you can actually prevent premature aging, or you can also take precautions against deadly lifestyle diseases. So the second philosophy of electrochemistry is Kareena Kapoor also know electrochemistry, and why not you? Of course, it's a philosophy for me, may not be for you. Okay, the philosophy of electrochemistry ends here. Let me go to the second part of my talk, that is the science of electricity. Electrochemistry can be crudely defined as the science of electricity. And this science of electricity is responsible for the batteries that powers your mobile phone right now, that powers your laptop right now. And this science of electricity is responsible for the operation of zero polluting energy technologies like fuel cells, solar cells. This science of electricity is often responsible for corrosion, which cost millions of dollars every year worldwide. And this science of electricity is responsible for the production of industrially important chemicals like chlorine, sodium hydroxide, fluorine, aluminum, etc. And it is often behind many biological redox reactions. And I would say this science of electricity is not purely chemistry, it is more of physics. And this physics is in fact the root of radio telecommunication, computers, household lighting, and even the ability of food wrap to cling onto its container. And this physics is also the basis of natural world. This science of electricity or this physics is also the basis of natural world. Why I say natural world? For example, if you take a zinc rod, a zinc crystal, and if you apply a positive electric field, you can knock out zinc 2 plus from the crystal into the solution. Everyone knows that. Which means the zinc 2 plus ions are held together in the crystal of zinc crystal by electrical forces. That is why you are able to knock out zinc 2 plus from the lattice, from the crystal, by applying an opposing electric field. So clearly the forces holding the zinc 2 plus ions in the crystal are electrical in nature. So this physics or this science of electricity is responsible for holding the atoms and molecules in their own world. What more, it can even produce auroras, lightning, and rainbow. Everywhere you can see the science of electricity. And during the dry winter days, you might have noticed, especially when you wear polyester shirt, And when you try to take out the polyester shirt, sometimes, you might have heard some kind of crackling noises. And sometimes you might have seen tiny little sparks whenever you try to take out the polyester shirt during the dry winter days. And whenever you walk across a carpet during the dry winter days to reach the doorknob, sometimes you might have felt a mild electric shock. And again, another example, if you try to take the hats off from the head during the dry winter days, you might have often seen, your hair stand up on its own like a crazy guy. I'm sure you know that what I am talking about right now. I am talking about the phenomena of static electricity. And the origin of the science of electricity, actually starts from the observation about static electricity. You must be aware of that. The origin of the science of electricity stems from the observation on the phenomena of static electricity. Around 2000 years back, ancient Greeks were the first one who named and made a written record of this phenomena, which we have come to know as electricity. Around 2000 years back, ancient Greeks observed this phenomenon called electricity, but in the form of static electricity. Ancient Greeks found that, they observed that whenever they rubbed an amber stone onto a silk cloth, they observed that it could attract dry leaves. And by enough rubbing, it could even produce a mild electric shock. Amber stones are fossilized resins often used by the ancient Greeks in jewelries. It looks something like this. And it is used by the celebrities even nowadays to make beautiful ornaments. There is an interesting story connected with the amber stone and these ancient Greeks. There is a story which is innately connected with amber stones and ancient Greeks. See, whenever for example, whenever the ancient Greek women, whenever the Greek women go for a party, they used to carry an amber stone and a frog in their bag. And the men as usual used to drink heavily. They used to drink heavily during the party, and they used to be lost in their own world after heavily drinking. And these Greek women used to get very bored. And what they used to do is that they used to take out the amber stone, rub onto their cloth like this, and then touch that amber stone onto the frog. Automatically, if the frog would experience an electric shock, a mild electric shock, and the frog would jump, of course, with painfully crying, because it experiences an electric shock. And this painful jump of the frog apparently made the Greek women very, very happy. And it actually provided a kind of entertainment for them during their boring time. You might think that, okay, the moral of the story is, you might think that I'm talking about a big story and I have a moral of the story to tell you. And you might think that the moral of the story is something like this. Your pain is your enemy's happiness, because the frog apparently feeling pain and the Greek woman is extremely happy. So you might think the moral of the story I have is your pain is your enemy's happiness. Absolutely not. Whatever the truth behind the story, what is undeniable is that ancient Greeks were the first one who named and made a written record of this phenomena we have come to know as electricity. That is the only point I want to highlight here by telling this story, nothing else. The European scientist, who lived in the 16th century, they did not know anything about atoms and molecules. They had no idea. They were unaware of the existence of atoms and molecules, but they were terrific experimentalists, observers, and fantastic inventors. They found that whenever you rubbed a glass rod onto a silk cloth, it acquired a charge. and the charge acquired by the glass rod was opposite to that of amber stone rubbed in the same way. The question is, how do they know? See, the question is, how do they know that it was opposite? Because they found that whenever they kept the glass rod adjacent to the amber stone, they got attracted. So they found that it was opposite. And whenever they kept two glass rods adjacent to each other, it got repelled. So they observed that, they understood that like charges repel, unlike charges attract. And they also found, and this phenomena of acquiring the charge by rubbing, they named it as Triboelectric effect. It's a kind of mechanical friction, by rubbing each other, a substance acquires charge. It is called Triboelectric effect. And they found that different materials have different capabilities for acquiring this charge. Some got attracted strongly, some got attracted mildly, some got repelled strongly, some got repelled mildly. So different materials have, or different materials exhibited different tendencies for acquiring this charge. And based on this, they made a series called Triboelectric Series. It's a very popular series. It's a Triboelectric series. It's a Triboelectric series, and you can see in the Triboelectric series, it's a Triboelectric series, sorry for that. It's a Triboelectric series, and you can see in the Triboelectric series, human body tops the list. And human body tops the list, and you can see the hair, the human body tops the list, and plastic-based materials are in the bottom of the list. Whenever two materials are further apart in the series, they can quite easily charge among each other when you rub each other. Whenever the two materials are further apart in the series, they can quite easily charge among each other just by simply rubbing. That is why when you repeatedly style your hair with a plastic-based comb, you can see plastic-based comb will be in the bottom of the list, whereas human body is in the top of the list, so they are further apart. What will happen is that they can quite easily charge. All the hair threads will acquire the same charge. When all the hair threads acquire the same charge, they will start to repel each other, and they will stand